President Biden talked about passing the torch to a younger generation in a speech last night from the Oval Office. And the bodies of 5 Israeli hostages held by Hamas in Gaza were recovered yesterday. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. President Biden says he ended his re-election campaign over concerns about the future of democracy in the U.S. In last night's Oval Office address, Biden said the best way to unite the nation was to pass the torch to a new generation. NPR's Lexi Schapitl reports the president spoke for about 10 minutes as he reaffirmed his support of Vice President Harris to become the Democratic Party's presidential nominee.
President Biden said he believes stepping aside was the best way to unite the country ahead of November's election.
I revere this office, but I love my country more. It's been the honor of my life to serve as your president. But in the defense of democracy, which is at stake, I think it's more important than any title.
Biden said he will devote the remaining months of his term to advancing his key policy priorities, including defending voting rights, protecting access to abortion, and working toward peace in the Middle East. Lexi Schapitl, NPR News, Washington.
Former President Donald Trump turned his ire to Vice President Harris yesterday in Charlotte, North Carolina. NPR's Franco Ordonez reports on Trump's first rally since President Biden dropped his campaign for re-election.
The former president repeatedly mispronounced Vice President Kamala Harris's name while describing her as more radical than Biden and a danger to democracy.
They say something happened to me when I got shot. I became nice. And when you're dealing with these people, they're very dangerous people. When you're dealing with them, you can't be too nice. You really can't be. So if you don't mind, I'm not going to be nice. Is that okay?
Trump was accompanied by his running mate, Senator J.D. Vance. It's only the second rally where they appeared together in a week since the assassination attempt against the former president. The visit reflects the importance Trump is putting on North Carolina, which he won twice. But the margin was so small in 2020 that Democrats see an opportunity to flip the state. Franco Ordonez, NPR News.
President Biden and Vice President Harris will separately meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today at the White House. Biden and Netanyahu will also meet families of American hostages held by Hamas. The bodies of 5 Israeli hostages held by Hamas in Gaza were recovered yesterday by Israel. NPR's Kat Lonsdorf reports from Tel Aviv.
The 5, identified as 3 civilians and 2 soldiers, were thought to have been killed in the surprise Hamas-led attack on October 7th and their bodies taken to Gaza. They were recovered in the southern city of Khan Yunis, which has been under heavy assault by the Israeli military for days. More than 100 Palestinians have been killed there just this week, including many women and children, according to the Gaza Ministry of Health. Netanyahu is under increasing pressure from Israelis to reach a new agreement with Hamas to bring home the remaining hostages. Many feel his government is not doing enough. There are still 115 hostages remaining in Gaza, at least 41 of whom are thought to be dead. Kat Lonsdorf, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
The Missouri Supreme Court has blocked the immediate release of a man whose murder conviction has been overturned. Christopher Dunn was poised to walk out the door of the prison when the court's order came down. From St. Louis Public Radio, Lucretia Wembley has more.
Christopher Dunn will remain in prison after the Missouri Supreme Court entered a last-minute stay Wednesday evening, essentially pausing a St. Louis Circuit Court ruling that overturned his conviction on Monday. Dunn has been in custody for more than 33 years after he was convicted of murder and assault in 1991. St. Louis Circuit Judge Jason Sennheiser found the evidence was lacking and that Dunn was innocent. Sennheiser had ordered the prison to release Dunn by 6 p.m. Wednesday, but the move was blocked by the Missouri Attorney General, who received help from the Missouri Supreme Court in pausing Dunn's release. Dunn's legal team says they'll continue fighting and that the Supreme Court order does not reflect justice. For NPR News, I'm Lucretia Wembley in St. Louis, Missouri.
You're listening to NPR News from Washington.